We were talking about the Belt and Road Initiative, China's huge sprawling infrastructure scheme. You think as well that the US could be involved and should be more closely involved in this. There are potentially opportunities for the US in the Belt and Road Initiative, is that right?
I certainly agree. I think that the basic idea of the Belt and Road is a very positive idea. I think that we have parts of the globe that are really not well integrated into the global trading system, and I think to build infrastructure and to pull them in would be beneficial to everyone involved. It's not an easy task. I think that China is trying to present an open platform where everybody that wants to participate can. I think that the United States as a government, I think that American companies certainly have opportunities to participate, and I think we should be looking very carefully at that.
Just in the last 24 hours, we've had this rather extraordinary exchange via Twitter and via speeches in Germany between Merkel and Trump, and Merkel suggesting that the European Union needs to forge its own way, that it can't rely on the US anymore, and Donald Trump hitting back with a tweet saying that Germany has a terrible surplus and has treated America very badly. How significant is this potential realignment, not just in terms of geopolitics, but in terms of the trade relationship?
I think it's good for the trade relationship to get more attention than it has. I think there are probably things that both sides can do to make the trade relationship more balanced and more beneficial to everyone concerned. So I think the fact that people are talking about trade is not necessarily a bad thing.
But there are real frictions.
Well, I think the frictions are unfortunate. I think that different people have different negotiating styles, and my own style is somewhat different from that. But I think that as people sit and look at the situation, I think that we'll quickly settle into a realization that not only the bilateral trade relationship with Germany, but the broader relationship with Europe and the broader global relationship is very important to the United States, and it's very important on a lot of different levels. Right now, the administration is focusing on bilateral agreements, and let's see what we can come up with. I think at the end of the day, after we've looked at bilateral issues, we'll recognize that there's such an interconnectedness and supply chains and everything else across many borders that we'll have to look at things from a more plurilateral or multilateral basis in order for them to really work.
And Trump's complaints about the German surplus isn't new, in fact, not from the US side or, in fact, Germany's European partners, but he says that he will act on this and that things will change. What could he mean by that? What steps could the US take to address Germany's trade balance? Because Germany, of course, would have to negotiate with the US as part of the European Union.
Well, I'm not so much an expert on the relationship with Germany, except to say, one thing that's easy to do is to bring trade remedy cases against imports to try to protect domestic industry. That's not the most positive thing. That's usually something that can be done while you're looking for longer-term relationships. At the end of the day, we can look to see if there are any trade practices that don't look fair or don't look WTO compliant. But at the end of the day, the United States has to focus on its own competitiveness as well. We need to look at our income tax structure. We need to look at a lot of different areas where we could be more competitive.
Given these pressures, given these changing trade relationships, what do corporates need to do? You touched on the supply chain issue. It's hugely complicated. How do they navigate these changing trade relationships?
Well, right now it is a bit unsettling. I think what we need to be doing is we need to be making the case to Congress and to the Trump administration that these things are complicated, that they're interconnected, and that we need to think things through very carefully as we make adjustments.